You do the weather. Waiting for the weather brought to you by Your Name Goes Here.
Insert name here.
Ready?
Sure.
Song's almost over.
I need to look at the weather. Exclusive for you.
Catching up. We're a little bit behind.
Same as yesterday, 81 to 94 under mostly cloudy skies. It's for you YouTube folks. Oh, we gotta get excited now.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you.
How are you today?
I'm good. Good. What's going on?
Well, you know, Wade Carter show. That's what's going on.
Let's see.
Let's do this.
Wade and Carter weather brought to you by insert your name here. 81 degrees in Victoria, Texas, heading to a high today of 94 under partly sunny skies. No rain in the forecast.
I'm glad you.
Next week.
Yeah. I know. I took a look. I mean, no real chance. They give you that 10% CYA chance for about the next 10 days or so. But
the Bill Alexander.
That's it.
Cover your fanny forecast.
Yep. I'm glad you cleared that up and said the weather was for Victoria, Texas, and not Victoria, BC, or
right.
Victoria, Australia.
What would it be in Victoria, Australia? It'd probably be 139 degrees.
Now it's winter there right now.
Okay, so only 85 degrees there.
Exactly.
What about in Victoria, British Columbia? Probably in the 60s?
Probably in the 60s, probably in the 70s.
That's today. A nice place, right?
Very nice.
Under British Columbia, I think about a lot of green, a lot of outdoors, a lot of Yosemite type atmosphere. Is that right?
I wouldn't probably go Yosemite. Probably more
the ghost of Teddy Roosevelt.
I'm trying to think where it would be like. You know, it's been so long since I've been there.
To BC.
Been to Victoria. Probably more like, I don't know, not quite. No, it's better than Seattle. Probably more, maybe more.
Seattle.
No, you know what? It's probably a more
Pacific Northwest.
It's probably a more temperate San Diego in a way. Stay
classy, San Diego.
But maybe a little bit older.
I've spent time in the Pacific Northwest. I'll never go back. That's it.
I've got no desire. My friends that live there are fed up with it.
Yeah, never going back. Portland, Oregon could be one of the more overrated places on the planet. I've been there. Used to go out. We'd get on the
I-5.
No. The east to west.
30, 20,
maybe. I don't know. Through the Columbia River Gorge. Well, you'd get on 5 and you would go east, okay, away from the Pacific. And you'd come to a little town called Troutdale. And it was just the little sandy river or creek, something runs through there. It's just beautiful. Multnomah Falls out that way, where the big waterfall is. It's gorgeous. It's a shame it's wasted on
Portland,
the liberal idiots that live there. But it's a beautiful, beautiful place.
Interstate 84.
Correct. And you're right along the Columbia River.
Yeah, no, it's really nice.
It's like the wind sailing capital of the world. I mean, you look down and you're looking down. Picture yourself at Oasis, looking out onto Lake Travis. And you're looking down into the Columbia River, and there's just people out there that are like professional, not wakeboarders, but sailboarders, you know, and they're just jumping waves, and you're right on the coast. It's a God-blessed area, and it's just wasted on those idiots.
Hood River's through there.
Yeah.
I think if you take 84 far enough, you end up in Hermiston, Oregon. A lot of good rodeo cowboys come out of that neck of the woods.
He's a cowboy riding out of Hermiston, Oregon. Let's give him a hand. He doesn't get to the next go round.
God, I miss rodeo.
But those guys are so good. You know, I mean, you're a radio guy, and I'm just a guy who talks on the radio. And there's a big difference, and most of you people listening realize this. But the guy that does the rodeo, that guy, the cadence that he uses and the way he talks about.
Bob Tallman was the guy that always came to mind.
The guy, I think about the guy in Goliad because he's so close. You're watching him do it. And the way he talks about the guys, and he does know them. He travels with them.
Yeah.
But he'll say, you know, every time the guy comes out the trick rider and they act like they don't hardly know each other. Well, where have you been? You're an hour late. And the way they go back and forth, their banter is just, it's a phenomenal art form. It's artwork to watch this guy call the rodeo. It's awesome. Give him a hand. That's all he's getting this week, folks.
Yeah, there's no check.
He's loading up and heading to Cheyenne. That's just great stuff. I love listening to those guys. There's Bobby Leister, Patrick Strauss, Scott Tomko checks in. This is how we get sued.
Taking a trip out to LA, tooling along in my Chevrolet, talking on the number, digging on the radio. Just as I crossed the Mississippi line, I heard that highway start to wind that left rear.
Yeah, we missed that one. I won't play anymore. But I apologize to folks because that was a pretty big one in the world of music.
Charlie Daniels passed day before yesterday. I'm assuming it was just, natural
Stroke, I
cause.
heard. Yeah.
Natural cause. There you go.
Big influence on a lot of country music.
We all know the
Probably
devil went down to Georgia, but he did so
A
many.
lot of good songs. That one, I just pulled up a lot of stuff that's on my phone through Apple Music. The Devil Went Down to Georgia was not in my playlists.
Right.
I've got a lot of his songs on my phone. That isn't one of them. I loved it as a kid. I probably got burned out of it later on.
That sums up Alabama for me.
But
I'm real tired of Alabama.
are you?
Yeah.
But I just
Charlie Daniels was around a long time and
83 years old, good influence on a lot of people. In
patriotic.
my opinion, kind of reintroduced the fiddle to modern country music in the 80s. Because at that point it was getting very popish. You had Islands in the Streams.
You had Ronnie Milsap with all the techno stuff going on.
A lot of piano and keyboarding. But I think sort of brought the fiddle back into country in the late 70s with that song, which had a huge crossover success.
Ronnie got a new piano. Did you see it?
No.
He didn't either.
Oh, Lord. Should have saw that one coming.
You're so
gullible.
Folks, he's so easy. It's like Bad Joke Wednesday.
Yeah,
Just throwing it out
definitely.
there. See who all checked in. Because most of them are leaving now.
Yeah, no
Let's say
kidding.
hi to
That
them.
joke. Scott Snow, Judge Posey,
Good
Matt
morning, Judge. Wait,
O'Shea,
stop. Never to be ignored. Good morning, Judge. Hope you're having a splendid morning, sir.
Bobby Leister, C.W. Bean, Sheriff Lauterbach,
Good
David
morning, Sheriff.
Glass, Marvin Mickish, Natalie Mayer, Chris Conrad, good
Born in
morning.
the old country, McCoosh.
Could be, yeah.
Could be. Comrade.
I just always called him Marvin.
Right? Sure. That's code.
BJ Nelson, Chris Jansen, good morning. Adam Daughtry, Pablo Perez, good morning. Johnny Houghton.
Yes, Pablo, you're right. Pablo says, hey, San Diego's beautiful. It is another place that's wasted on the people that live there.
Yeah, Johnny Houghton brings up something. Yeah, there's a lot of cities in Canada that have given their homeless one-way tickets to Victoria, BC on the bus to get them there. Victoria's got nice weather all year long. They don't get cold winters. A lot of homeless people used to go there in the winter and then they'd migrate back, across Canada They'd hit Calgary up during the Stampede because they knew there was a lot of money to be made off panhandling in Calgary for those 10 days. Because you get a bunch of drunk people that just throw change everywhere. Then they used to go up to Edmonton for Klondike Days. And then they'd start heading west or east to Toronto and get there for the Canadian National Exhibition. And then kind of start moving back. I mean, they almost lived the life of carnies without actually being a carny and drawing a paycheck.
Right.
But they would follow the summer fairs, and then they'd start working their way back west, and they'd get to Vancouver for the Pacific National Exhibition, and then they'd take the ferry and go back to Victoria for the winter. It's kind of how it used to go. I don't know if they still kind of do that.
There you have it.
Warren Bingham checking in.
Iceman.
It's been a while, Warren. Glad you're back. Jimbo Slice. Lisa Poole. Christina Wise. Crystal Stringham. They changed up the look on Facebook. It's not quite as easy to navigate. I've got to get used to it. It seems like everybody. I don't have as many comments in one window as I used to. HR Mallory, good morning to you. Jason Brannon checking in.
Hey, JB.
Good morning, everybody. We're glad you're all here. Jimbo Slice says he thinks some of those folks might have got a one-way ticket to Victoria, Texas by mistake. So yeah, it was, that one surprised me a little bit because when Charlie got news of that, and yesterday was a busy day, and we just didn't get to it. I mean, there's only so much you can get to in an hour.
You were ranting yesterday.
I could go off on one real quick this morning too, if you want.
Please take a moment. 7:13.
Right before our first break. Mary Kate Letourneau, you might remember her. She was the pedophile teacher in Seattle, I believe. A lot of weird stuff coming out of Seattle. Warren, you might want to get out of that area.
Warren, just come to Texas and be somebody.
But you might remember her from the late 90s. 34 years old at the time. Had an affair with her 12-year-old student because she was a pedophile. Went to jail. They let her out after a year, told her don't talk to the kid who's now 13. Well, she couldn't do that. Ended up going back to jail, served her sentence, got out. They got married. A few years ago, got divorced after 2 kids. And then,
So a normal life.
Yeah, I guess if there's a normal life for a pedophile.
Sure.
Brainwash him and raise him up.
It's a little weird. It's one thing. I mean, men, we kind of roll our eyes, 34-year-old teacher, 18-year-old senior in a high school student. We giggle about it. It's still inappropriate, but, hey, it's kind of like,
But the
12-year-old, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
And don't get me wrong. I know there's a lot of, 12, 13, 14-year-olds or guys that were that age that had a crush on a teacher.
Right.
It never got acted upon either way.
Right.
And every story, and I didn't read a lot of them, but I was looking for certain things. No mention of the fact that 34 years old, attracted to a 12-year-old, obviously some mental issues, if nothing else,
right,
but certainly meets the classic definition of pedophile.
Never mentioned.
And no label at all.
Yeah, never
None.
mentioned. Because I don't want to hurt her feelings.
Yeah. Died yesterday, I think, of cancer.
Of karma.
And I don't have karma. Yeah, that was probably a better one.
She died of karma.
And and then you read the comments. Oh, so sorry.
Gone too soon. Where do you fall if you think about right and wrong and all this? So, but let's say
I don't know. I don't even know why I brought it up.
Because
it
bothers
you.
You told me about on the
one of those weird things that happened.
But she's 34, he's 12, and she does whatever she does, gets caught. She goes to the pokey.
Was married with kids at the time.
But you almost 20 years later, she's now 50, he's 32. Their kids are in junior high, and they seem to be getting along fabulously. Like, you could almost give them a break. But then when they get divorced on top of it all, it's like, she just was a nut job.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't, 12 years old. You would have to go kill the teacher if you were in Texas. Ryan Hobby says 12 is the new 14.
Lord.
Heather Monroe says, I think that story was on 2020. Not like it was here, Heather. Not like
No.
it was here. MUNRO.
Tom Price checking in. Good morning to you, Tom.
I see Tom Price everywhere, which lets me know he's kind of like, it's kind of like when you go somewhere and you bump into Brother Gary, you're at the right place,
Yeah.
right? At least for that 10 minutes when Brother Gary's there, because his flyby schedule is very full. I see Tom running, like while I'm driving, he's running. I see him. Yesterday I was pulling out of somewhere. I don't remember where. He was pulling in his truck. Waved.
Jeffrey Fonseca called it 50 Shades of Weirdness.
50 Shades of Weirdness. I like it.
Yeah.
Fonzie.
Heather Monroe asked what was her name. Laterno.
Yeah.
Mary Kay or Mary Kate.
Heather Monroe says she spells her name the right way. MUNRO.
Monroe. No E.
She spells it hooked on phonics. Monroe. MUNRO.
You don't need an E on
How do you spell Monroe? MUNRO. Ding! You're on to the next round. What if the rodeo guy did the spelling bee? How good would that be? Let's give him a hand. He moves on after spelling Appalachian. That's a great ride there. Good for him. 8 seconds or less. He did that. Good job there, Billy.
What if they gave him 8 seconds only?
Right. It's like, it's rodeo spelling bee. You got 8 seconds to properly spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Yeah. Or at least start it.
Right.
You don't have to finish spelling it just in case you get that word.
Can you use it in a sentence, please? Can you give the language of origin, please?
Can you imagine how fast those sentences would have to be read?
Billy's an idiot, but he's in the Appalachian Mountains. Spell Appalachian, Billy.
2 seconds.
Right. Wow.
Although not gonna lie, the spelling bee, that was somewhat riveting TV back in college. It was up there with Bob Ross.
And you're like, no way he got that.
Is she gonna make it? What is Bob Ross gonna do with that black canvas that he just started with?
Just happy accidents.
There's no way Bob makes anything look good and happy
Trees.
with a dark gray, and he
Put
does.
some snow in here.
There's a moon
You think Bob could have passed
silhouette
the
on
contest?
birch trees.
Think Bob was smoking a little herb there before he fired up those trees?
Probably a good chance.
Had an afro.
You don't have an afro like that in the 70s and 80s and 90s. You don't transcend the afro fad
Cool.
phase
Right, phase fad. I knew you were going with that. The fade.
for 30 years
Well,
without not caring what anybody thinks
when
of your afro.
you're Bob Kaepernick and you take a knee before you paint the trees.
Chris
What do you
Conner
make of
says
this?
spelling bee shot clock. Good idea. I agree.
We haven't talked about this. What do you make of? Well, I think we did talk about.
Heather Monroe says her grandfather told her as a little kid the good guys spelled their name without an E.
There you go. What about this secondary national anthem, before the national anthem, the precursor to the national anthem? Are we all going to take a knee during that one, and then we're all going to stand up? Do we talk about it?
I don't even know what you're talking about. But
People said that they're not going to watch the NFL this year. I think that would be a great deal, although I gotta watch the Cowboys.
I did see a poll. 64%
So they're not watching.
Americans say they're not going to watch the NFL.
I don't understand.
I'm not sure I'm buying that.
I don't understand that there'll be some closet watching parties. The spineless nature of Roger Goodell. He was so, adamant. The league will not tolerate this. We're not going to do things this way. And then it was like, well, I guess an individual's right to protest. Like some lawyer got a hold of him and he said, okay, well, the individual's right to protest won't be infringed. And now it's like, we're all going to take a knee. It's the atrocities.
I don't think it was a lawyer that got a hold of him. I think it was some sponsors who threatened to pull their money, and he knows where his bread is buttered.
Yeah. Do we? So I'm going to be. We have sponsors that listen, and it's a compliment to them that we just don't have that issue. But I don't have any one sponsor that I would say, no. Of course, we don't have any sponsors that would say, I don't want you to talk about that again. We just don't have them. We have sponsors that believe in this format. They're wise enough to understand that this format will evolve in the way that gets us the listeners that allows.
And has evolved.
And
And
evolved.
it creates dialogue and discussion in the community. It brings the fourth issue. It clears up issues.
They like us. They really like us. We're like the Sally Field of radio. Let's take a quick break and tell you about Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. If your car won't go,
Been there from the start, folks.
get a hold of Allen. Allen is a founding sponsor. Right down the line, Went Electrical Services, Went Generators, Went Plumbing, Went Services in general. If you need, you do need, it's generator season. Whether you need a
Nice
generator,
pun.
Cummins,
Whether I got it.
whether you need a generator, or if you want solar panels on your roof, solar panels on your property, feeding into a Generac battery backup, you'll have power. When the power goes out, Generac comes on, and Went is your home for that. The VCS companies, Rocket Oilfield Services, and the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer,
Right there on Kerr Boulevard.
just inside the loop off Main, go straight down. If you don't have a security system right now, which, by the way, has a battery backup, you need a security system because we live in crazy times. It does give my family peace of mind to know that I've got 1080p color zoomable cameras on the front of my house.
That's
Don't come
pretty
over
cool.
there. I can watch you explode when the 223 shell hits you in the dome. Close up. So there you have it. The VCS companies provide that service. They are fantastic. They
They don't
it
provide the
first time.
223 service, but
No,
they
no.
provide the video service.
They do have discounts on large quantities, man.
But they've got a lot of things. Video Doorbell Pro.
Yeah.
If you just want something that's simple, full-blown security systems that can also help with your fire suppression, fire monitoring, all that stuff. They can do it all.
All that stuff, the
Yep.
VCS companies. I like that. SCT
It's a good
building
tagline.
systems,
They can use it.
all that stuff. I like it.
SCT Building Systems, 564-8864. Give Clayton or Casey Held a call. From start to finish to the after
Oh,
products.
landscaping,
They can
all
do
that.
all that. The landscaping, they can make it look, they'll design, they'll help you design it. They'll build it for you.
The concrete work,
And they'll finish out your elevation and make it look really nice. Give it great curb appeal.
perfect.
That's what they do.
So you can sell it. There you go. That's enough break for now. We don't like to dwell on the breaks. It is unbelievable to me when you come in the morning and you're listening to other radio stations. And I like to listen. There's a couple of people I like. Matt Ray. There used to be his dad was on. That was that old man and woman were the Rays.
Okay.
And I listened to him. And, he's a good guy. I don't know. I do listen around the dial. They're really, sadly, I'm not bragging. There's really no other place to be between 7 and 8 than listening to Wade and Carter. There's nothing else out there that is even remotely intriguing. It's dumbed down for a pop culture audience, and it's not really of any interest to me.
Or music intensive, if that's what you want.
I guess, yeah, you can listen to music. Sure, that's what people think of radio for. But in troubled times, radio is where you go because radio is instantaneous. I think radio is getting more and more important in these times.
Yeah.
It's scary that how controllable radio is, though. You have to be careful. And you remember,
Think about it. All the revolutions that took place, all the communist revolutions, the dictatorships that came through from about after World War II and beyond. What was the first thing? Maybe the second thing they always took over? The presidential palace or the House of Government, and then where did they go? Or simultaneously, they took over the radio.
and the newspaper.
The newspaper came later. The radio was instantaneous.
Yeah.
Right?
Right then.
The radio station was always the first one they took over. Even when TV came along, TV stations were never the first ones. It was radio, and then the other media would be
The common.
commandeered.
The common man.
It's interesting.
What are these guys talking about over here?
Jimbo Slice says, anyways, you can't have a nation of unity for all if certain demographics start pushing a separatist agenda. We all know the leaders of certain groups are supporters of Marxist philosophy. The agenda is to break national unity. That's the essence of, I got into a rabbit hole here of
Well,
divide and conquer.
That is exactly, it is. You can just go to Black Lives Matter, for example, and read that they are a progressive Marxist organization. There's no getting around it.
Two of the three founders profess to be trained Marxists. I mean, I don't know how we're not mincing words. We're not making things up.
Yeah.
They profess it. They've said it in many interviews. I think at one point it was on their website. They may have
It
taken it down.
doesn't work. Marxism doesn't work.
It's never worked. Bobcat Watley says someone needs to take over CNN.
Right. John has a long mustache. What is he talking
I have no idea.
We have the most
Jeremy Pena, good
random
morning
people.
to you.
Hello. Where's he? Was he San Mobile?
San Antonio.
San Antonio. Same thing.
Good morning to you. So what do you make of Mary Trump's book? I mean,
She's trying to capitalize on her.
name, because I never heard of Mary Trump. I know he has a sister named Marianne. She was a district judge, I believe. This is the daughter of his older brother, Fred, who died years ago when Mary was a teenager. And maybe that's why Mary Trump feels such outrage towards her family. I don't know. But the little bit I've seen the excerpts, because I haven't read it.
She makes a lot of suppositions about her Uncle Don, like, I think he was abused as a child.
And her other uncle, who tried to get her went to court to try to get the book to stop being published, because apparently there was they had an agreement, apparently, a non-disclosure between Mary. So I'm guessing if you have a non-disclosure with your niece that goes back a number of years,
There might be some truth to some of this.
there might be some truth to it, or you might have a problem with somebody who's threatened to
Right.
blow the lid and the whistle or make stuff up on a lot of things, right? I don't know. But you're right. I mean, there seems to be a lot of supposition. I think it's going to appeal to one side of the political spectrum in this country,
The weak-minded left.
and the others aren't going to matter. And she's a professed supporter of Hillary Clinton, and almost went into TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome, in 2016. So, I mean, you take it with a grain of salt when you find these sorts of things out.
Rush Limbaugh said yesterday, he goes, my experience has been that when people start dissing and dishing garbage about their family members, it never goes well. He said, I don't think this book will sell well. People will see it what it is. She's opportunistic. She's trying to make a buck.
It's a money grab. Well, and not even that. I don't even think it's yeah, she's trying to use her uncle to make a buck.
It's got to be salacious. It's got to be nasty in order for it. It's got to have controversy in order for it to sell. Did you see what she said about her uncle?
But really, let's think about it. If we break down Donald Trump, what revelations could be in this book that we don't already know? He's a philanderer. He's cheated on his wives.
Sure.
He's paid off hookers. He ran a casino into bankruptcy. I don't know. I mean, I just don't
He's
see.
an American.
I just don't see a lot of revelations coming out of this book, other than it's pure money grab, because being Mary Trump hasn't been enough to help her open doors and probably make a living.
Exactly. How old is she? Do you have any idea?
I have no idea.
She's got to.
I didn't even know she existed, to be honest, until this book came out.
She's got to be in her 50s.
So
Her uncle's older brother
was
he's
her dad.
74, so she was.
Yeah, and this was the oldest brother, I believe.
Yes.
Fred Trump
She's got to
Jr.
be in her 50s.
So
I'm assuming she has money, and I'm assuming Fred left her some cheese.
probably, or maybe as a lot of kids do when their parents with a lot of money die when you're a teenager and they leave you the money. She spent it all and has blown through that trust fund. I don't know.
Then she'll write another book after they reconcile. It'll be like My Great Uncle Don. Then the Republicans will buy that book.
Yeah.
We do tend to gravitate towards news and media that suits our needs. I mean, I hear folks bemoan, oh, CNN's terrible, blah, blah, blah. And then they listen to Fox and they think it's all just the gospel according to Sean Hannity
And Tucker Carlson.
and I'm just like, yes, they call it, what's his name? O'Reilly called it the no spin zone, but there's no doubt that Tucker and Sean Hannity spin.
Oh yeah, there's some spin. It's they don't spin hard left, they spin hard right.
Yeah.
And that's I mean, if there's anything that the interwebs has done, it's created a space for people who like to gather all the information or as much information as they can before making an informed opinion.
Right.
Unlike you or me, of course.
Exactly. We will opine about anything. One thing Jimbo Slice said, so we're not buying this book by Uncle Grandpa. No, we are not.
Heather Monroe says, allegedly hired illegal immigrants and then did not pay them along with contractors. Yeah, see, another revelation that doesn't surprise anybody. Yeah, I don't know. It's just... and the timing, of course, right before an election, because this book couldn't have come out at any other time in the last 4 years.
Or 40 years.
Yeah. Well, but let's be honest. She's not getting this kind of attention if Donald Trump is still hosting The Apprentice or Celebrity Apprentice, right? This book's probably not even being picked up by a publisher 5-6 years ago when Donald was just the host of Celebrity Apprentice.
It's crazy how much credibility he must have developed through The Apprentice, though, to get elected.
And you can't tell me that whoever her publisher was said, let's wait on this. I know you want this book and you need the money. We'll give you an advance.
Right.
But we're going to wait to drop this until just the right time.
Yeah, that's what happened.
And they didn't see the COVID coming because you can bet that they probably made plans back in the fall to release this now at the height of the summer travel season, where it would be in all the airport bookstores on the bestseller list and all that, right? Because they knew people would rush in, they'd see it, they'd buy it. I mean, these things don't just happen overnight. There's a lot of planning that goes into it. That's why books get released certain times a year, because they know they're popular amongst readers who travel. So. Now, the mayor asked anyone catch the News Center 25 last night about the sheriff's runoff. Did not catch it last night.
I didn't catch that either. I don't watch local TV.
I'll be honest, I haven't watched any TV. There's nothing to watch right now.
I know the runoff's going on. I know early voting is going on today. You can still vote until 5 o'clock for sure at the Patty Dodson. I don't know where else, but
I think that's it. Early voting's only at the Patty Dodson.
It's COVID free. It's all very social distanced, and I know that both candidates have been invited to come in next week as well.
We'll take a look at that, and if we think it's worth talking about, we'll bring it up tomorrow. But I'm not going to jump into something I don't know much or anything about. Yeah. So, Ryan obviously says Kanye 2020.
Where are the murder hornets? Whatever happened to them for real? What happened?
I have no idea. I think they just turned out to be those mud daubers.
Yeah.
In Seattle, the rain hit. They went underground, built a little mud nest inside somebody's backyard shed, and that was it.
Real quick, folks. Chesley Furniture Company, 100 years in downtown Victoria, since before there was a downtown Victoria, when it was just Victoria. Bobby Leon's grandfather said, you just do better at Chesley. And he's been right for 3 generations. Bobby runs the business now. They do a great job. They have great furniture, bedding. They have Tempur-Pedic bedding. They have appliances, refrigerators, washers and dryers. Things you need, things you expect.
Pretty much anything for any room in the house. It's there at Chestnut Furniture.
Get down there right now. Enjoy 50% off as they celebrate their 100 years in Victoria. Tell them Wade and Carter sent you and see if you get something special. Maybe like a free mask. Vera Cruz today is called a Wednesday.
576-6015 if you want it to go, if you want to pick it up.
Still eating inside. Get in there and enjoy Vera Cruz today. Caldo Wednesday is a famous day.
I may have to do that.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Highly, highly enjoyed by so many. get in before they run out. Razor IT Solutions, JP Hull and his team will come out and help you understand your Facebook presence, your brand, your internet presence. They'll help you collect money on the internet. They'll help you understand who's trying to get into your program. They'll help you keep people out that you don't want onto your web page, protect all your data, and protect you. I think JP may be in here pretty quick.
Well, you just reminded me. I kept forgetting to send him a text. So now you're talking about him. I'll send the text.
There you go. JP Hull, Razor IT Solutions. The Antonov dealership, since 1926, Victoria's go-to car dealership.
Chevrolet, Cadillac, Mitsubishi, Mazda, those are the brand new models that you can choose from or brands that you can choose from.
Chevrolet built the dealership, but Cadillac, Mazda, and Mitsubishi rounded out, whether you need luxury automobiles of the highest order, or if you need a less expensive but very reliable vehicle for a college kid or for your family, a young family. They also have a beautiful assortment of gently pre-owned vehicles, paint and body shop, service all makes and models. You can take grandma's Buick over there. They'll fix it. Get to the Antonov dealership today. And then White Trash Services.
550-1826. Give them a call. You'll talk to a live person, and they can answer all your trash collection questions. They can meet all your trash collection needs in Victoria County and the 5 contiguous counties. And they're moving into the Rockport Holiday Beach area very soon as well. So if you're with your service in this region, you can also have them collect your trash on your vacation.
And they're really just a favorite of ours. They sum up to me what Victoria's about. Local business, family owned, started out with 3 trucks and a yellow legal pad. Oh yeah, there's your clients. Go get them.
Yeah.
Now they've grown. They're growing exponentially. They've not only moved locations, they've added on to that location. They're poised to take over the collection for the city. I wish them the best in that. I hope our city keeps that local. And BJ and Scott Nelson are just great folks. So we highly recommend that you reach out to them.
I'd like to see the city just allow others, and let's see if the marketplace can dictate who should be doing it.
You mean like an unfettered capitalistic
Kind of,
marketplace?
yes.
No, we can't do that.
Chris Cox, good morning to you. Stephen Kidder says the murder hornets all got COVID and dropped dead mid-flight.
There you
It's
go.
as good an explanation as any as I've seen.
Why are the comments in that format?
Because Facebook changed things up, and I don't know how to get it back
I
yet.
don't think Facebook likes us.
Says you can go back to the classic view at any time, but I don't know how to do that. So I'm going to have to play with that because I just don't have a clue how you do that right now.
There you go.
So I will have it back to the way it should be.
Maybe you could
because this is
Google
kind
that.
of, yeah, I might have to YouTube video it.
Don't worry about this dry cough I've got.
No.
It's going to be okay.
It's good. Did you see the president of Brazil, Bolsonaro, says he's been taking hydroxychloroquine and that helped cure him of the COVID?
Really? I saw a deal the other day. It made sense to me. And it wasn't, what is the,
There's been some doctors here in Texas who have treated, again, handfuls of patients with that
and a breathing treatment.
and a breathing treatment and the zinc. Everybody who's used this has said if you don't include the zinc because it helps, I guess, the absorption into the body is the way I understand it. That without that seems to be the common denominator, whether it's the hydroxychloroquine with the Z-Pack, whether it's with this other breathing treatment.
Yeah, like it wasn't albuterol, but it was like albuterol. You get a nebulizer, you put this stuff in there, and they said, hey, look, COVID is a bronchial inflammatory virus, and you basically treat it like you would asthma, and it essentially goes away, runs its course.
Jimbo Slice says early aggressive treatment works. And that's the other thing. They've been putting these, these doctors have all said that, they've been putting these patients on it right from the get-go. And they start them off on a high dose like the first day of hydroxychloroquine, and then they
Right.
back it off a little bit. But they haven't gone above and beyond the recommended doses. Like I believe it was the study in the VA hospital where they put them on like 3 times as much as what they should have been on, right?
What did Sky say? The power
Power of melatonin. I thought it just helped you sleep.
I thought so too.
I don't know.
And by the way, she's talking about something that we talked about on Monday.
Yeah, because
It's
she
like having Rain Man.
took too much melatonin.
Right. She's been out.
Yeah. Joe Mitchell brings a good point. The APT Tour is underway. There's a golf tournament here at Victoria, the APT Tour. I think that's the short for the Adams Professional Tour, if I'm not mistaken.
Almost pro tour.
No, that's pro.
No, they are pro.
There's a purse.
There's some golf your ball going on out there. That's
Yeah.
Victoria Country Club.
Yeah. These guys are like the rodeo cowboys of the golf world.
Right.
They get that paycheck, they pile 4 of them into a car, and they go on to the next tournament. There's not,
Billy shot 82 today. He's buying the chicken. Right. If you're the high man, everybody else was under par. Ha, you stink, Billy. Take your day money.
Yeah. It ain't happening.
When does that tournament start?
I think it started yesterday.
Why don't you and
Or
I go
maybe-
out there and pull like celebrity rank, give us a golf cart, go drive around.
Some of us
see
have to
what's going on.
work.
Oh, I forgot about that. Sorry. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Heather Monroe is a doctor from Midland, Texas. He's treated 12 patients successfully with a breathing treatment.
Yes.
It's a type of steroid. Yes, thank you. Joe Mitchell says Big Pharma will not allow an easy solution. Too much money for the vaccine.
Absolutely an equally honest and straightforward and correct statement. There is no way that you're going to get through this pandemic without somebody. GlaxoSmithKline introduces,
Covidicor.
yeah, exactly. That's a good one, by the way. Covidiquelch. It will quelch your COVID. Yes. This is going to burn a little. It has to be refrigerated and injected into your buttocks.
7:30 this morning, they're teeing off, so they've teed off already.
There you
No
go.
fog delay today.
It's a perfect day to play golf.
Right now is the time to get out there.
Before the wind kicks up.
Steve Kidder says, I have a stressful day job.
Oh, Steven.
Iceman says,
me?
Veracruz will cure COVID.
Can you see Kidder like
Veracovid.
over a cheeseburger? He's like, no. 8 years is too much. I'll settle for 5. He's just eating the cheeseburger. My guy will do 5. He's not doing 8. People's lives in his hands. He's like, eating his french fries. You can eat those fries? Okay, 5. 5 it is. 5. Okay, stop. I want to enjoy my lunch.
Jeffrey Fonseca says some damn good golfers on the APT. No, there really are. And a lot have gone on to play what is now the Corn Ferry Tour, which used to be Web.com, Nike Tour. I don't know all the iterations.
Joe goes off at 210. Don't think we couldn't get a buggy and go out there this afternoon and follow Joe Mitchell and heckle. He plays better with a little heckling. Miss it, Mitchell. Miss it. We can stand on the side of the green. How do you think that'd go over? Well,
We'd be removed.
we're waiting, Noonan. Joe would love that.
That was always my go-to in barroom pool. Guy had the 8-ball. Noonan.
Right? Just miss it. It's great.
Doesn't always work.
Joe's been playing great golf, and he ought to be familiar with the
Yeah.
course.
You know what, though? I think in golf, maybe more so than any other sport, I don't know all the time that the home course advantage exists. I think there's so much pressure to play well because you should know the course and do know the course that you heap it upon yourself, you know.
You think you're helping Joe right now?
Yes, I'm trying to, it's reverse psychology. Yeah.
I'll
know.
tell you where home court advantage doesn't matter.
Boston Garden, back in the day, it did.
Curling. The rink.
You know that you get to
When
know
you
you
get
get to
on the
know
rink.
you get to know your ice.
Ice is flat, baby. Ice.
It's not as pebbled.
Is it?
Yes, I told you that before.
Oh, I forgot about
There's a little pebble on it. Otherwise, the rocks don't do anything.
it. See, the rock, folks, actually compresses the ice, creating.
There you go. Joe Mitchell agrees with me. Home course is not always an
It
advantage.
makes it melt. You know where home course field advantage?
especially for Joe when he can't set the pins where he wants them.
Joe set the pins. Trust me. If I was a member at Augusta National, home course would be an advantage because I would just be playing at the Masters every day. Hey,
I don't know if I should even read that one, HR.
go ahead.
After reading some of Stephen Kidder's Facebook posts, he does his best work and finds the good clients after hours at the bar.
Steven's like, take my, as people leave the bar, Steven goes, take my car. They go, I don't need a lawyer. You're gonna, if you drive, you're gonna need one tomorrow. Folks, I'll tell you where you need to be today. Uncle Mutt's Barbecue. Get some brisket, ribs, chicken, sausage, turkey. They've got it all the side dishes, anything you want, cabbage, beans, black-eyed peas, maybe not, green beans, cabbage, said that, Uncle Mutt's rice, pea salad,
Potatoes.
coleslaw. They've got it all.
Sweet corn.
The best tea in town.
Look at that. Brent Jelly, minus 30, 32 under his last two events. That's ridiculous.
He needs to be playing on a different tour,
Or a tougher
a
course.
longer course. Gray Barn Design, reach out to Cheryl at 920-6803.
6803.
She'll help make your next event eventful.
Memorable.
You want it to be something that you can look back on and say, man, what a great time.
Yeah. We've talked about it with weddings. What does anybody ever remember? The dress the bride wore.
The decoration.
And it's one or two ways for the dress. It's either absolutely beautiful, stunning, gorgeous, or it's a,
Mhm.
right? It never goes, there's never, it's never a mediocre dress. It's one or two ways.
They either love it or hate it.
They usually don't remember the food because it's like chicken banquet dinner circuit, right? But they always remember whether or not it's an open bar, and then they always remember how it looked.
Yep.
And that's where Cheryl can help.
And you can set a really great mood. It doesn't have to cost a gazillion dollars.
It
You
can,
do it. It can. They're willing to take that.
but she'll work with any budget, and she'll make it look absolutely
Stuff.
stunning, and she can transform any space.
Classic.
Folks. Yep. She's good.
Look what she's done with Ash.
Exactly. I'm holding out on the hair, though.
Compadres Design Inc. You want to wrap a car, wrap a boat. You want to wrap just about anything.
They can do it.
There you go.
Even buildings. Maybe not in Victoria, but they could wrap a building for you.
Fantastic organization. The Soulets are great folks.
Really are. Saw Jay the other day. Where was I see him walking out of? I think HEB the other day. He's walking out pushing a cart. I was walking in pushing a cart.
I don't know why. I may look it up, and there's a Lil Wayne, you know, the rapper.
Yeah.
I'm not a rap guy. I don't know if you knew that.
I thought you were a closet rap guy.
There's a
Eminem.
deal on there. He says, and I paraphrase Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne says, safe sex, great sex. Got to use that latex. Don't want to, I'm a little late text.
Sage advice
I thought that was
from
pretty
the little
good
one.
from Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne, like Lil Jordan Humphreys.
Sky Sanchez says if a study was found to be sufficient with enough iron to back it, there could be a vaccine for individuals who are affected most due to blood type, just like the RhoGAM. I thought they said RhoGAM at first.
I wonder if there is a study going on right now. And there's no humor here. Ash and I get in a quandary. You folks are tired of hearing about the COVID. We're definitely tired of talking about it. Is it going to be a surprise to you if someday we find out that, did you know that 95% of the people that had COVID were O positive? I mean, that there's going to be a blood type, or there's going to be
some sort of unifying factor.
Something that ties them all together that might be like, I did not know that.
Michael Jolly says, what's y'all's take on the Astros record this short season? Because baseball, I believe they're starting to play inter squad games. They'll begin July 23rd, I think, in earnest, right?
Right.
I think I don't think you're going to be in the mix for the postseason if you don't have 40 wins.
So you're basically, though, you're saying At 40-20, you've got to win every series.
Basically 2 out of every 3, right?
I mean, they don't do that, do they?
Close.
They're winning 100 a year and losing 60.
Okay, now that you put it that way.
How about 38 and 22?
35 wins gets you in the mix.
Yeah,
in the
35
race.
wins get you in the mix.
I think what you're going to see here's going to be one of the byproducts of this shortened baseball season that I think will carry over. Beside the DH, which I think we will see continue beyond this year in both leagues. I think the days of
Yes.
pitchers
Good.
going to the plate in the National League will be done after this year.
That's fine.
Think about it. The Players Association, I don't see how the Players Association could be against that. You're basically adding an extra player to every roster,
Correct.
right? Even though they do have expanded rosters now of 26 players, but now you're getting a position player, and no pitcher's going to lose their job because they're no longer batting.
Right. We only keep him around because he hits 230. You know, you're going to have, imagine that you've got to face Justin Verlander, and if he throws you a little up and in, you might see better pitching in the American League or in the National League because they can now throw inside without having to go to the plate.
Yeah, I mean,
What are you
pitchers
gonna
aren't going to be able to get away with one that they just groove to a pitcher because they know this guy's got the swing of the grandma from the Tweety Bird
right
cartoons.
Now you've got Jordan Alvarez that they're saying throw that mush in here.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think the Astros go 39 and 21. I'm going to give them 39 and 21 because I think they'll have a slump.
Joe Mitchell says 41 and 19 for the Astros.
Okay, so we're all right around there, right? Is that fair between 38 and 41?
Yeah, I think so. I think 35 gets you in the mix. But here's the things that I think you're going to see carry over from this year. This is a 2-month run, basically, 66 days of baseball.
It's going to be paradise.
Unless you absolutely are just terrible, you're going to be in the pennant race for 2/3 of the season. Right? You're going to have a shot, which means beyond this year, I think you're going to start seeing expanded playoffs.
Okay. So here's the thing.
That will be one of the lasting effects of this year.
When I watch, as somewhat of an aficionado, I'm captivated by watching Justin Verlander pitch. Okay. I watch every pitch. I try to figure out what he's going to throw. I try to figure out where he's going to place it. And I can tell you, now, he missed with that one. I watch every pitch. I think you're going to see, and I also do that during the playoffs. I think you're going to see a playoff type atmosphere for the entire season. I think you're going to see when Greinke's pitching, I'm going to be like, where's he going with this one? Is he going in? Is he going low? The more you know about baseball, the more there is to watch during a baseball game. And especially if you're there. Why did they move Altuve over behind short? I mean, it's just the nuances of the managerial side of baseball are immense. And to watch each play as if it really matters, I think you're going to see an intensity in this season that honestly
doesn't exist.
May make you wish that they only played 60-game seasons. I'm not joking. Because there's a lot of games, not so much the Astros who are in the hunt of late.
The reason they call them the dog days of summer.
Because people just go through the motions. You know? You're
and every sport has it except for football. With only 16, soon to be 17 games, that's probably the one sport. Although I'll say I don't think they're going through the motions. Football's bad season is the start of the season because now your starters are forced to play a game that they hadn't played for the last 5 weeks.
And now we're doing no preseason this year.
You know, and you see sloppy football the first couple of weeks, and that can make or break your season. But I agree with you. This year's baseball season is going to be intense.
You agreed with me?
Yeah.
It's awesome. That means we're probably right.
Not going to be and that's going to be hard to carry over, like you said, unless they shorten up the season. Joe Mitchell agrees, DH all around. Michael Jolly says we're going to see some random teams in the playoffs this year. I agree.
Tampa Bay.
No, Tampa Bay is usually there. I think Toronto could surprise with all the young talent they have.
Toronto?
Yeah. They could get there. Interesting. I play a baseball sim called Baseball Moguls. Pretty cool. You can go back and you can have some
back.
back. And you can have some.
You sound like Fred Flintstone. Bit, 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 bit. Remember when Fred was hooked on gambling?
They went to Rock Vegas
Rock Vegas and saw Ann Murderock,
and Stoney Curtis.
right? Oh, hey, Fred. Remember Stoney loved him.
Cigars, cigarettes. Wasn't that the one?
Yes, that was it.
Anyway,
In Rock Vegas.
the guy who made the game, Clay Dreslow, I get emails because I have the baseball sim game. It's called
Sure.
Baseball Mogul.
Addict.
Yeah, it's a fun game actually. You play the manager, owner of the franchise. But anyway,
You're
So-
fired.
yeah, not yet. Took the Expos to 3 straight World Series in the 80s.
You did?
I did.
Wow.
Had to trade Gary Carter. But
Not
boy, did
a
I get a
bad
return on it.
Well, you got Andre Dawson hitting batting 5 times
Yeah.
a game.
And it was Rusty
Anyway.
Staub was on my team,
Nice.
just like he
He was
was.
60.
Yeah. But anyway, what he did is he ran the new rules through the simulation and simulated a season, and he found that for lack of a better term, and we'll use this, we'll use softball's term for it, the international tiebreaker, where you start extra innings with a runner on second base, as they do in softball. He found that the games that he simmed, and he simulated 10 seasons with the new rule, 10 seasons without it, just to kind of get an idea. Based on the simulation, the average extra inning game dropped to just under 10 and a half innings. Speeds it up. Whereas without it, through his simulation, it was over 11 innings.
What did it do to the outcomes of the games in his simulators? How many, did it change the outcomes of a whole bunch of games, or does he tell you that?
I didn't say that. He said the average number, or the number of games that stretched past the 11th inning, dropped from 26% to 7%. So if it plays out the way they intended, you're not going to see a lot of long games. And that was the concern and why they brought it in, was they didn't want to have a lot of long games when you're playing 60 games in 66 days. And I understand that
That makes
rationale.
sense.
So,
Well, because of pitching too, you're loaded up.
so based on his sim, that rule of starting the extra inning with a runner on second base should shorten up baseball games this year.
There you go. One other thing we got to tell you folks, we're excited to have back USA Foundation Repair and USA
Concrete coatings.
Concrete Coatings. 578 Home. If you dial 578 Home, they'll come out and give you an estimate to lay down. It's some high tech stuff. We've got the data. We just haven't gotten it all together yet.
I can't pronounce some of the words.
Polybicarbonate, and
But-
and jelly.
Sodium bicarbonate.
Yeah, and jelly. We can't tell you exactly how we do it yet, but I'm telling you that the coating is tougher than epoxy,
Yeah.
and they're ready to do it,
Durable, slip resistant,
and affordable.
and a whole bunch of colors. If you have an old
It's got
if you have a-
colors. It's so beautiful.
cement deck, patio,
Big deck.
something, small deck, middle deck, whatever, and you don't want to jackhammer it up and replace it,
Right.
give Charlie Garcia a call, 578 Home. They will come out, take a look at it, give you price. They will transform that old cement pond.
Right.
No, they'll transform that old cement deck for you into something new. Nobody will know you don't have a new deck, basically. is what I'm telling you.
If you've got all that mildew and stuff, if you've got a huge black deck, you can just get out there and put that on there, and it'll be light and airy and colorful.
And the other thing is, it's antimicrobial, so fight off
You're
that stuff.
Just making that stuff.
No, I'm not. He sent me some.
Antimicrobial.
Sent me some stuff, and it'll fight the mildew as well.
There you go.
So
Folks, we're out of here. You listen closely. Brother Gary is in here with Ralph, and Gary's going to come in tomorrow, and we'll bring some content.
Right now, it's less than nothing.
He says he has less than nothing right now, but he'll have something tomorrow.
John Davis agrees. Too many games in Major League Baseball season.
There you go. Bobcat says, don't know if you let Dusty chew on his
Toothpick.
toothpick. I tell you what, I guarantee you there's going to be a fine if you're spitting seeds. Yesterday,
You're not allowed to spit this year.
simulated game, our inter squad, Garrett Cole was pitching. Top of an inning, He strikes out the first batter. Catcher comes up. They throw the ball around the horn. The umpire says, time. Got to take that ball out of play. Too many people touched it. They get that ball out. Next pitch, Aaron Judge or somebody hits a home run.
Wasn't Juan
And
Soto?
Garrett
He's
Cole
still
told
only
me,
21 years old.
Juan Soto's still 21, forever 21, Juan Soto. Garrett Cole told the umpire, I liked that other ball. I don't like the one that you gave me that this guy just hit into the stands. So baseball, I mean, no longer throwing the ball around the horn. You can't get the ball back from the beast. It's got slobber on it.
Terrible.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
There's one last shot for you folks. Take care. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye, folks.
Good stuff, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good stuff, sir.
Hello, Ralph.
Morning, sir. God bless you, sir.
Y'all too.
Top prize on the golf tournament is $25,000.
The one this weekend?
One this weekend, top prize is $25,000. Total is what, $100?